Hi, my name is Justin Green. Welcome to AP US Government, and let's get to it. So what exactly is public opinion? Public opinion is the distribution of population's beliefs and about politics and policy issues. Obviously, public opinion will never be uniform. Without the diversity of opinion, there is no democracy. To work properly, there must be discussion, difference in opinion, and factions. Now let's talk about demography, the science of population changes. The U.S. government needs to take a census every 10 years to determine how many people are in the country. Now let's talk about minority-majority. It is predicted that by 2040, Hispanics and Latinos will become the majority and whites will become the minority. This is really crazy right now because whites are about 60%, give or take, of the majority, and Hispanics and Latinos are only around 20%. Political culture is an overall set of values widely shared in America, many of which are introduced and stolen from the Enlightenment. Now I'm going to throw it over to Joe for more about the political processes.
Now, let's talk about gerrymandering. The word was created in reaction to a redrawing of Massachusetts State Senate election districts under Governor Elbridge Gerry. With gerrymandering, there's mainly two ways of doing it. There's cracking and there's packing. Cracking is when the party in power dilutes the voting power of the opposing party supporters across many districts. Packing is when the party in power concentrates the opposing party's voting power in one district to reduce their voting power in other districts.
As a person gets older, he or she develops their own political opinions. The way these political opinions are developed are through things like parents, teachers, schools, peers, and more importantly in this day and age, the media. Social media and the media in general has become a huge factor in people's political opinions being developed. As you get older, the stats of voting in general elections and local elections just skyrockets. So as you get older, voter turnout increases. People care more when they get old and fat. So since the media is so influential, it is very important to pay attention to both sides of the media, whether it be a conservative article or blog or video or a liberal one. The reason for this is because polls that come up in politics can be biased, and the thing to look out for is the way the questions are worded, because they can be very biased and they can affect how you answer the polls. It is impossible to measure the opinion of every single person walking on this planet, so basically what political scientists have come up with is a method for gathering the correct information. The way they're doing that is through polls and surveys. President Lincoln was a key supporter of the idea that the government as a whole should have a good idea of what the people collectively want, and second, he believed that the people should be able to communicate exactly what they want to the government. Lincoln valued the public's opinion because he wanted them to believe that their wishes were being served and listened to in the government's actions. However, many of these ideas are hard to turn into policy, so there's a bit of a rift between public opinion and political action. However, voting is the number one way of expressing public opinion. A candidate's election doesn't necessarily translate to high approval ratings and overall support, but another way of gathering information on public opinion would be polls. Anywhere between an election, polls can be conducted to kind of gauge the public's opinion. This can be on the way the public views how the president is acting, or how the president should be doing better, or anything that they What's the word?
Critique?
Okay. Or this can be anything they want to critique about the president's job. Instead of using the expensive and time-consuming method of gathering information from everyone, they have cut it down to a sample size of about 1,000 to 1,500 people that would accurately represent the population as a whole. These polls are samples, and although they are small in proportion to the population as a whole, it has been proven that they are scientifically accurate. Since these polls are between 1,000 and 1,500 people, they must be random. The reason for these polls needing to be random is at the end of the poll, when it's all been conducted, the sampling error must be between plus or minus 3%, which means that the results are representative of the entire population's opinion without being too far off. Ah, Charlie horse! There are other ways of gathering public opinion other than surveys and polls, and one of those methods is random digit dialing. In recent years, the method of random digit dialing has become an issue because it's biased to the people in the United States that have landlines, i.e. old people, old and fat people care about. Millennials and those younger than them tend to have cell phones, and they are only allowed to dial landlines. So basically it becomes biased. The opinions of the people that pick up the phone on the landline dials are most likely biased because it takes a certain type of person to actually pick up the phone, and then it takes another type of person to answer the poll and, be honest in their answer. Exit polls are another way of gathering public opinion. So basically what happens is these are public opinion surveys used by major media pollsters to predict electoral winners with speed and precision. There's a huge problem with this because in the Eastern Coast, a lot of newscasters will declare a winner of a presidential election when the West Coast still has hours left to vote.
Ever since the 1960s and the Watergate scandal, there's been a decline in trust in government, especially in past years with the increase in media coverage and basically media knowing everything that everyone is doing all the time. People do not trust the government anymore. So that's a problem. Related to this new media coverage and this just influx of information that's basically just being exposed and everyone has access to because of the internet and all that, people are also losing trust in the election process because in the past 12 years, there have been 2 elections where the popular vote, the majority of America, did not agree with the Electoral College. So people are starting to get frustrated with the way the government's working because it hasn't really been yielding the results that correspond with what the majority wants.
Here's a good analogy for the Electoral College. Would you rather have a car work 93% of the time or 100% of the time? This is an argument made by many activists that are trying to abolish the Electoral College, even though it's written directly in our Constitution, because they feel that its success rate has been 93%, which is true. Popular vote and the Electoral College have not coincided for...
Shut the The highest percentage of trust the American people had in the government over the past 20 years was following the events of 9/11, causing the highest amount of trust in the government over the past 20 years from the American people due to 9/11.
10 people died in the Bronx last night due to a fire that killed 10 people in the Bronx last night during a fire.
Polls aren't always correct, though. In the case of the 2016 election with Clinton versus Trump, many polls favored Clinton to win. As we know now, Trump did win that election. How, though? That's a video for another day. Now we're going to throw it over to Jack to explain the rules about the mystery document.
And now for the mystery document. Inside this envelope is a document, and Alden has to guess the title and the author. And if she gets it wrong, she gets shocked by the electric pen. And if she gets it right, good for her.
Thanks, Jack, for the document. All right. If action consists of less than a majority, relief is supplied by the Republican principle, which enables the majority to defeat its sinister views by regular vote. It said faction, so I'm going to go ahead and say it's the Federalist 10 Papers written by James Madison. Is that right?
I have no idea.
You have to say yes! It's the mystery document!
Yes, over.
I'm guessing the author and the title!
Lost at that.
You idiots!
I was like, what the is wrong?
Yes.
They are so
Wait,
dumb.
we do HQ at the
We're
time.
playing,
I'm trying!
we're playing HQ right now.
Play HQ! I'm done! I'm trying to make money here!
On video.
We are too.
HQ!
On video, you're about to see us win $2,000.
I'm missing HQ.
You're about to see us win
This!
$2,000.
Okay, hold on. Since the batteries are red, yes, it is James Madison.
Hey guys, so the microphone really G'd us when I was trying to film the conclusion, so here's a funny video of a guy falling.
Demography. Demography is a science.
Okay.
Okay.
Go.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
Oh
I don't.
Now, obviously, there's a margin of error. See, if you were recording right there, Joe, it would have been all great.
It's recording.
It is?
It's been recording the whole time.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You're gonna have to do a lot of editing.
I know.
This is so funny.
Okay, start again.
Okay.
Please, I'm never doing a project with you guys again. Mia, put it back. Seriously,
I want this all in.
No, I'm deleting it all.
Joe, it's good. Keep going.
Government funding.
Why do you sound like a mop every time you talk? Like you sound like if a mop could talk.
How?
Act like a character.
It may convulse the society, but it will be enabled to
It's fine, just keep going.
No, start over.
No, I can
He
cut
has
it.
to start over.
I can
Yeah.
cut it.
Hispanics and Latino. Why are you trying to make me laugh?
Alden has to guess the author of the document and who. I was about to say and who wrote it.
Speak
Being
louder.
excited.
The
Take a
highest
breath.
percentage in the government over the past 20 years from the American. The highest percentage of trust.
Wait. Rosie, I will put.
More people to trust the government, 11, causing a lot
No.
more women, causing
Nope.
people following the events of 9/11.
You can't laugh.
Trust in the government over the past
you
20
can't
years.
laugh, you
Yes,
can't
I can. Following the events in the government over the past 20 years. From doing it.
Go.
Leave.
You're wasting time. Just go.
You leave.
Go.
Get out.
No.
Take a breath. Take a breath.
From the American people.
Alden.
The highest.
Okay.
Following the events of causing.
No. See.
I understand it!
I heard it.
Took a breath of air.
No, you
Jack,
didn't.
That was
a
the farthest
quiver.
I ever
You
got.
heard that.
Get out.
That was a quiver.
God.
You're smiling. I see.
baby.
No.
I
Watch
did
out. Watch.
Following the events of
Alden.